jubilation as Peter Obi and Obedience move to register their new party. So guys, the long-awaited new party is about to be bettered. So Peter Obi is not going to have any problem again with the Labour Party. They should just go with their party. We can't wait to see INEC approve this registration as soon as possible. At least let's have our own platform, and also be able to nominate the people we know can lead us. I know it's not easy to lead a political party, but I tell you, working with the Labour Party is going to cost Peter Obi a whole lot, because there are already moles planted by the APC inside of Labour Party. And they want to just destroy Peter Obi's chances. We saw that in the last election. And this time around, we are not going to allow it happen. Anyway, guys, I'm just going to allow you to take a look at how Arise Television crew have analyzed, the registration of the new awaited party that Nigerians can't wait for INEC to give approval. I hope INEC will not find any, excuse to start giving Nigerians on why the party is not qualified. And you know what INEC can do with Tinubu there? Don't forget, he said he is happy seeing opposition in disarray. Anyway, guys, let me allow you to take a look at this.
Registration as new political parties in Nigeria. The Independent National Electoral Commission announced on Tuesday that it had received multiple applications from aspiring parties. It is not clear if the party is linked to Peter Obi, under whom the Obedient Movement gained momentum during the lead-up to the 2023 general election. The Obedient Movement launched a digital portal for member registration and the issuance of identity cards in April 2025. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu said that all 110 applications will be processed fairly regardless of the promoter's status. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has dismissed the various coalitions forming against him as political IDPs. Tinubu spoke at a one-day presidential state visit to Nasarawa State on Wednesday, where he inaugurated projects. He urged his supporters not to pay attention to his political opponents as they are in a coalition to unseat themselves. Let's take a look.
Sule is doing well because Bola Tinubu is doing well too. Those who have triggered the alley politics and the partition of coalition, suddenly, just don't pay them any attention. They are the political IDPs. Don't give them a home. The hope is here. I'm not geared for what they try to pull on me. Only political campaign. Who is a politician who will keep quiet when the gangsterism are forming a coalition to unseat themselves?
Mungbe revolution ball. Every time I hear him speak with so much confidence, I am so, I mean, he's saying that the coalition parties, we should just disregard them, but we are seeing, 110 parties registered, and we're seeing this new Obedient Party being among them. What are your thoughts really quickly?
Well, of those 110 parties, my favorite was Village Intelligence Party. That was the party for me, and I'm behind them 100%. On a serious note, we know that, almost every seasonally INEC does deregister parties from the political register, and it's always in huge numbers. So it's no surprise to see this huge influx of, potential parties coming to the table. It doesn't mean all of them will be successful, and it doesn't even mean all of them have, it's not easy to register a political party in Nigeria because you need nationwide representation. You need, the things that are required are quite cumbersome. So of course, of these 110 applications, it will be narrowed down, but we're now curious to see how it will be narrowed down. Another thing that raised interest was the fact that there are two ADA parties there, ADA parties. And, some are saying that, okay, if they're both registered, it will, hopefully it won't cause confusion on the ballot. If there's the ADA, the coalition, and the other ADA. As for the president saying, well, if they're coming for me, what do you expect me to just fold my hands? That's just the reality of it, is that, but what we implore is that he should not respond with politicking. We want him to respond with good work and more good work and more good work. That is how you silence your opponents.
That's how you silence your opponents.
On party registration, just to say that Samuel Lumekun, the spokesperson of INEC, has already said that what they have received is expression of interest, not formal applications. And out of these 110, only 10 have submitted expressions of interest. However, party registration is guided by law. Section 221, 222 of the 1999 Constitution, Section 75, 76, 77 of the Electoral Act 2022, and INEC guidelines and regulations. Is after following all these provisions under the law that you can even formally apply for registration. And the process has been articulated by INEC. You have to even get Form EC 15A sub 1.
All right.
It's when you get that you can begin to talk about formal registration. What we can say is that INEC should be fair to all parties concerned, and there should be no discrimination.
Well, all right, well said. Demolition of a property belonging to the brother of Labour Party leader Peter Obi has sparked a debate online regarding the controversy surrounding property rights and the rule of law in Nigeria. On Tuesday, Peter Obi stated that his younger brother's company's property in Ikeja, Lagos was demolished without a court order or proper notice, despite efforts to intervene and seek an explanation. No legitimate reason or authority for the demolition was presented. Peter Obi said that the court judgment shown to him was against unknown persons and squatters and did not specify his brother or the property, nor did it contain any demolition order or permit. Well, let's take a listen before we take some reactions.
Is that how a country works? They just came suddenly, started demolition. If my brother didn't have a brother like me, they would. He wanted to enter here. They say, no, you can't enter. We have got injunction. What about court injunction that allows somebody to enter into another person's property, refusing for removing his things and everything, and demolition everywhere? What about court injunction is that? This is a family property belonging to my brother. He bought this probably about 10, 15 years ago. Yesterday, he called me frantically. He said some people have just jumped into my property in Kenya and have removed the roof and are demolishing the property, and he doesn't know what is happening. When he asked them, they said they have a court injunction, that they've obtained court order, that they are the owner of the property. I said, can I see the court papers? I know who you sued. I saw the court papers, and it says they sued an unknown person. How can you say a proper house that has been built up is owned by an unknown person? Can you see the rascality in this country? Can you see what is happening in this country? And you are talking about foreign investor. Look at what local investors invest. Look at what Nigerians have. Look at this rascality. I'm ready to, that's why I'm making it open. Let the owner come so we can meet and talk. Let him tell me how he got involved in this.
Peter Obi right there at his brother's property, talking to the people of the press. He came into from Abuja to Lagos, where he got a call from his brother saying that the property was demolished without any prior notice, and he's owned the property. His brother has owned the property since 2011. We have documents to show. He did send me. I did speak with Peter Obi this morning as well. I'm sure that I've shown you some of the documents that I got to buttress his claim that he does own the property, and also we have another document, if you can pull up those documents, of the actual people who went to court to get an order for demolition. That's Peter Obi's brother's property to show his deed of assignment. And, I don't understand how this happened, Dr. Abati. I'd like your comment before I take this reaction.
Okay, I'll just state a number of principles. What you're doing here, what we're dealing with here, is about claim with regard to property. Under the law of property, possession is 99% of the law. And Mr. Peter Obi pointed out that, look, his brother has been in charge of this property for over 15 years, which is to say that it's not a case of an abandoned property and all of that. Two, he says that the legal document that was shown to him was about an unknown persons who were involved in the litigation. There's no such thing as an unknown person in law. Even in criminal law, in corporate law, the locus classicus is a case called Solomon and Solomon. So even where you do not know the identity, where there is a corporate entity involved, as is the case in this, Next Foods Limited, the principle in Solomon and Solomon, 1896. Every student of law of real property knows it. You can lift the veil. It's about lifting the veil. So why did the court not lift the veil in this particular matter to know who the real owner of the property is and who is in charge in possession of that property at a particular time? However, there's another principle in law. That's why I say I'll just take principles. It is called ubi jus ibi remedium. Ubi jus ibi remedium says where there is a right, there is a remedy. If Mr. Peter Obi and his brother are saying that they have a right to the property, the appropriate place to go is still the same court of law to assert their rights and to prove their rights. So this is a matter for lawyers, to go back to the same court and say, well, this property does not belong to an unknown person. The unknown person exists. Okay, you have the duty to lift the veil. We have helped you to lift the veil. Then let the legal contest begin. Mm-hmm. But the general issue that can be discussed on television that Mr. Peter Obi raised is that if there is lawlessness, If you don't respect the rule of law, then you discourage investors, whether they are local, like his brother, running Next Foods, or they are foreigners. Because if they cannot buy property, they cannot invest in property, then anybody can just go to court and then relying on that allegation, that court process that can be challenged, then of course, business people would think that this is not an enabling environment. The responsibility of government, either at the federal level or at the state level, is to ensure the rule of law.
Yes.
Is to provide an enabling environment for business to thrive. Those points can be made at the level of argument, either by the litigant or on television. But the place to go to seek remedy is, in this particular case, as in others, the court of law.
Yeah, and I believe that Peter Obi has gone to court at this point. But my issue really is the lack of due process. A property that has been there for 15 years, there was no contact made. Until now, I believe Peter Obi is saying that the person who ordered the demolition of that property has not reached out to him till as we speak at this moment.
The owners also sleep on their rights.
Yes.
There's also
I understand. I'm not. Yes, I understand that. But
the place to go is court of law.
Yes.
You know, with due respect, Dr. Abati, we talk like we don't know Nigeria sometimes. And that's the part I don't understand on this table. Is it not in this country, you and I know, that people will go and file a case in courts? They will not allow the person involved know about it.
This is the issue.
They will fictitiously file it. And when it's almost time, they will just, maybe what happened last week. When they went to file another case against Natasha, it was just because a lawyer went to court that discovered them. It didn't serve them. It happens in this country. You see, when I was talking about institutional breakdown, people would think I'm just talking. But you and I know, so we can quote principle. Itasu sapanda, itasu kudotufa, latasu kalaka. I'll speak Latin from today tomorrow. But you see, the truth is,
I cannot take sides in a matter where
Dr.
I don't
Abati,
know
I'm
the full
saying,
facts
I'm just laying a background. We can speak Latin from today to tomorrow. But you and I know the shenanigans that goes on in the legal process in Nigeria. So when we quote Latin, the truth has to be said. We need to be able to investigate this case
issue.
and look deep. Because see,
Rufai.
we are quoting Latin, Dr. Abati. Lagos State has now come out to say that it's not Lapscar that did the demolition. So who did the demolition?
This is the question.
So if they carry police, go and demolish some of this property when you are supposed to be having a back and forth in court, and Lagos State has come to say me one bell. So like you quote Latin from today to tomorrow. See, Nigeria will turn your brain. Nigeria man, you're waiting. All we are just saying is that with due respect, Mr. Peter, we should go, like you said, he should not sleep on his right. He should go to court and be able to assert himself. Because he as a party, the Next Food as a party was not copied. Yes. The case was against unknown person. And you got police to go effect this and you effected a demolition.
Wait, I have
Lagos State regulatory body has said they have nothing about it.
Yes, they just
Nigeria will turn you mad.
So this petition was from Rose of Sharon solicitors, and the person's name that was on it is Mrs. Deborah Olorunlogbo. I mean, Peter Obi is a public figure, and we have come out with this story. At least let us know really how this happens in Nigeria. I can't believe that I'll be waking up one day and then someone will just come and demolish my property. That's what it appears to be at this point. It's not the only thing that is happening. It's not the first time. Also, I would like to take Betty Akeredolu's tweet. I'll read it in part. And, she wrote, my brother, sorry about what happened. Like Lagos, like Owo. We are in the season of demolition. It's happening because Guy men occupy positions. On June 21st, 2025, Lucky Ayedatiwa ordered the demolition of the monument built in memory of Owo Catholic Church massacre that shocked the nation on June 5th, 2022. What kind of leadership defiles the memory of innocent souls in such a callous manner? Lucky Ayedatiwa's demolition of Owo Church massacre monument is not only an act of profound insensitivity, it is a desecration of sacred ground. That monument was built by my late husband, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SANCON, a son of Owo, was a solemn tribute to lives violently cut short in a house of worship. It symbolized collective mourning, remembrance, and healing. I mean, this was part of her tweet, and she's completely apt. How do you demolish such monument without due process? We have videos of the demolition, if you can put that up. And this is sort of conversation. Because,
it's an aberration. So, do you want to remove the memory that people died?
Yes, this is.
Isn't that people didn't die?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you untie the people that died? Nigeria, man, you're worried.
All right.
So, if you say, oh, God.
All right, we'll follow up on the story as always. Well, and we'll get Dr. True. Well, I guess we'll get an account of the people who sent those people to demolish Peter Obi's brother's property.
So, guys, you have heard everything about Peter Obi's brother's property. that was demolished. I'm just going to take you through some of the headlines because the Lagos state government has come out to say they don't have hands in the demolition of that property. Nigeria is just one funny country, you know. Somebody will just wake up and go and demolish your property, and the government will say they don't know anything about it. Anyway, some people have already started arguing that for the fact that that property is located inside of Ikeja, there is no way that demolition would have happened inside. Ikeja is the heart of Lagos. There is no way that demolition would have happened without the government knowing what is happening. So I'm just going to take you through some of the reactions. Nigerians have been reacting, saying they can't just tell us that Lagos State does not know what happened. Now take a look at this. It says, we are not aware of any demolition. Lagos State denies involvement in demolition of Peter Obi's brother's property.